Advisors, dear graduates, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to today's bachelor's dissertation defense session. This important academic event marks the final stage of our students' undergraduate with an opportunity to present work. Now, in the defense session, each graduate student will present the main results of his or her dissertation work. After each presentation, the members of the commission may ask questions, and the student will be invited to answer them. Our first graduate student is Kudaybergen Nargiza Bakbergen Kazak. The theme of her dissertation is communicative language teaching and the development of speaking proficiency. Her scientific advisor is Fazil Babubakar Bakhtarovna. Dear Nargiza, you may begin your presentation.
On communicative language teaching and the development of speaking proficiency. Development. Speaking proficiency is considered one of the most important aspects of language development because communication is the main purpose of learning language. English learning only grammar and the vocabulary knowledge, but also the ability to express their ideas and their confidently. However, many students express difficulties when speaking skills and English fluently. They often feel nervous, lack confidence, or have problems with pronunciation. Effectively, teaching methods and are necessary to improve speaking abilities. The purpose of this research is to investigate the role of communicative language teaching, also known as CLT, is developing speaking proficiency among intermediate learners. The objective of this study to analyze theoretical concepts of speaking proficiency, understand the principle of communicative language teaching. Concept of identify learners teaching. Language teaching is an approach that and meaningful communication. And the interaction, traditional methods, CLT, gives more attention to using language in real-life situations. Its main principles include student-centered learning, interaction, participation, and the development of communicative competence. Speaking proficiency is participate and the development of communicative competence. Speaking proficiency is important because it learning to express opinions effectively, communicative confidence, improve fluency and activity in the academic environments. Uh, there are different types of speaking activities used English uh, language classroom. Activities include divided, interpreted, role play, discussion, informative gap activities, um, problems, solving tasks. In the presentations, each activity educational value, for example, role play, fluency, role play and role fluency and the confidence, discussion, critical, and the vocabulary development, information gap, speaking and the listening skills, problem solving, communication and the negation, presentation, pronunciation and the confidence, divide, argumentation skills. However, intermediate learning often face difficulties speaking problems include fear of making mistakes, lack of confidence, limited vocabulary, pronunciation, problem speaking dependence on the first language, and the limited for communication for successful classroom implementation. Teachers should support atmosphere. Choose topics used per and the group work and the Apple learning center interaction. Teachers should act as facilitator, and the active of this show that speaking activities have positive impact, attendance, motivation, and the communicative competence. Example of classroom activities: role play, work fluency, and environment discussion, group work, critical, interview, pair work, question formation, presentation, individual work, public speaking skills. Debate, group work, argumentative speaking. Survey result also indicate that most learners have positive towards activities. Most students urged that speaking activities help them improve their communication skills and their confidence. In conclusion, in language learning, communicative language teaching, effective communication, and significantly to speaking development, speaking practical help learner become more fluent, confident, and successful in the communication. Factors affect violence, learner motivation, classroom atmosphere, teacher support, and topic relevance, organization, speaking, frequency, feedback quality. Speaking activities are essential in language learning, CLT, effective communication opportunities, speaking activities, fluency and confidence, regular practice develops communicative competence, intermediate learner benefit significantly from communicative tasks.
Thank you, Marisa. The topic is communicative language teaching and the development of speaking proficiency. Yeah? What can you say about the main principles of communicative language teaching?
The main principle student-centered learning, communication, interaction, um, participation, and the communicative competence development.
Development. Okay, Nandita. What is the role of speaking skills in foreign language learning?
Speaking abilities improve fluency, vocabulary, pronunciation, confidence, and communication skills.
So чего confusion? Актуальность.
Актуальность, да?
Proficiency is considered one of the most important skills in language learning because communication is the main learning in the language. Nowadays, English has become an international language used in education, business, and everyday communication.
Thank you. Thank you.
The review was given by Zinaba, Tahar, and Zashita. As a conclusion, considering the scientific and practical significance of the research, the qualification thesis meets the requirements established for bachelor's degree works and is recommended for the case. Our next graduate student is Murabbai Firuza Polatuzar. The theme of her dissertation is electronic communication as a new electronic style of the language. Your scientific advisor is Zinaba Bahar Makhtarovna. Dear Firuza, you may begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, respected teachers and dear students. My name is Firuza Baba, and today I'm pleased to present to my graduation thesis entitled Electronic Communication as a New Language. So, digital technologies have become an inseparable part of human life because everyday means of people communicates on social media, messaging applications, applications, um, applications, emails, blogs, and social functions. As a result, language itself has started to change and adapt to new environments. This research focuses on the how electronic communication has developed its own grammar, vocabulary, communication strategies, and social functions. This study also investigates whether online language can be considered and demonstrate why electronic communication deserves serious linguistic attention. And before discussing my research, I would like to begin with a quotation by the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan. Shavkat Mirziyoyev, to achieve sustainable development, we need to master digital knowledge and information technologies. I choose this quotation because it directly reflects the importance of digital technologies in modern society. Today, technology influences not only education, business, science, but also the way to people communicate. Uh, I will explain my research tables of contents. My presentation consists of three main chapters. The first chapter examines the concept of electronic communication language. In this part, I discuss historical development of computer-divided communication and the main definitions of proposed by proposed by researchers. The second chapter focuses on the linguistic features of electronic communication. Here I analyze abbreviations, emojis, emoticons, and the creative transformation. The third chapter, electronic communication as a dialect. In this chapter, I investigate whether online language fulfills the criteria for dialect classification and how digital communities create out linguistic identities. Let us start with the introduction of my research objectives. Introduction: the main aim of my research was to examine the electronic communication as a new electronic dialects of language. The relevance of this topic is connected with the rapid growth of digital communication worldwide. So people increasingly rely on online platforms for entertainment, education, work, and social interaction. Consequently, online language has become an important objective of linguistic research. Mm, to achieve aim of the study at several objectives. These include analyzing the history of computer-mediated communication and identifying the main linguistic features of online language and evaluating whether online electronic communication can be classified as a dialect. And the research was based on comparative analysis, descriptive analysis, discourse analysis, and social linguistic approaches. So I will now discuss the
Second chapter.
okay. Mm,
Linguistic features.
the second I will now discuss the second chapter. The second chapter investigates the main linguistic characteristics of electronic communication. The first feature is abbreviation and the economy of expression. Online communication encourages speed and efficiency. As a result, users frequently short words and phrases, for example, with LOL, LOL, meaning laughing out loud, the BRB meaning be right back, and the SCAP, as soon as possible, like that. So the third feature is creativity and word formation. Digital environments constantly produce new vocabulary, words such as selfie, hashtag, blog, retweet, and a netizen originate from online communication like later interpret everyday language. This example demonstrates that the language is creative, dynamic, and systematic. It follows patterns rather than developing and randomly. Electronic communication as a dialect. The third chapter addresses as the central question of my thesis: can electronic communication can be considered a dialect? According to social linguistic theory, a dialect is characterized by distinctive linguistic features and social functions shared by specific community. My research found that electronic communication satisfies many of these criteria. Digital communities develop their own vocabulary, abbreviations, symbols, communication norms, and members of these communities recognize and understand these conventions, while outsiders might find them unfamiliar. Um, Another important feature is the presence of morphosyntactic variations. Online users often simplify sentence structures, omit certain grammatical elements, and then experiment with spelling and the punctuation. Uh, the study also examined internet slang, functions as a globalized dialect. People from different countries with similar abbreviations, names, and online expressions, creating a shared digital culture that crosses the geographical boundaries. This findings suggest that electronic communication is not merely informal language, but a socially and meaningful linguistic variety. In conclusion, mm, to summarize the result of this research, several important conclusions can be drawn. First, electronic communication has a well-defined historical development that began with the emergence of computer networks and expanded through the growth of the internet. Second, digital language possesses distinctive linguistic features, including abbreviations, emotions, emoticons, creative word formation, innovative word formation process. Third, these features are systematic and functional rather than random or incorrect forms of language. Finally, electronic communication demonstrates many of the characteristics associated with dialects, including group identity, shared norms, and unique linguistic factors. So, thank you.
Thank you.
So, what is a new electronic dialect? What is it?
Um, as I mentioned before, electronic dialects electronic dialect is a language. Uh, it learned internet slang, maps, and digital communication.
Yes.
Так, ну, это уже. Так, и не забудь, а ты мне сказала, что мы только what is the difference between them?
Emotions, emoticons. Emojis, emojis is like smiles, like emoticons. Um, for example, memes, gifs. You can see through emojis and emoticons your emotional situation.
So I'd like to ask you just about the division of your chapters. According to what criteria you divide it into 3 chapters?
Criteria?
Yes.
You you can learn digital languages and you can learn digital language through um, internet slang, emojis. It's a dialogue.
Your work consists of 3 chapters,
Yes.
apart from others. most racial essays should consist of 2 chapters. That's why I'm asking this question. Because what criteria you've divided into 3 chapters?
I think my team is enough with 3 chapters.
Sorry?
I think my team is 3 chapters enough.
It's more than enough. That's all.
Okay, then, no, I don't have. Yeah, but this is just saying.
The review was given by President Bakhtarna and Tanya Butrusyan. The conclusions are well-founded and consistent with the objectives of the research. The work confirms the author's ability to analyze linguistic phenomena and apply theoretical knowledge in practical research. The graduation qualification paper meets the academic requirements of a bachelor's degree and can be recommended by defense with a high evaluation. Our next graduate student is Polonia's Sarbanasini. The theme of her dissertation is the phenomenon of linguistic interaction facilitated by incorporation of correlate lexical elements. Your scientific advisor is President Bakhtarna. Dear Sarbanas, you may begin your dissertation.
Okay, good afternoon, teachers and guests. I am Polonia Zashita, and today I'm honored to present my graduation thesis labeled The Phenomenon of Linguistic Interaction Facilitated by Incorporation of Lexical Borrowed Elements. Our presentation is organized as follows. I will begin with the relevance of the topic, research methodology, then cover theoretical basis, lexical borrowing, its causes, sources, and types. After that, the next chapter, I will discuss adaptation of borrowed words, that they are semantic, phonological, morphological changes, and contemporary trends. And finally, I will discuss lexical borrowing is one of the most powerful mechanisms of this evolution. We can observe this in our everyday lives. For example, when we use the words like internet, smartphone, or marketing, in Uzbek, English, or Russian, those are lexical borrowed elements in action. And there is the 3 key fact elements shaping the relevance of this study. The first one is about lexical borrowing contributes to vocabulary expression, and language content is a primary source of borrowed lexical elements. Borrowed words reflect cultural and social interaction among the nation. And in addition to this, globalization, digital media, intercultural communication have made our topic faster, have lexical borrowing faster than even before. Research methodology. Now let me outline the research framework. The aim of this research is to investigate the phenomenon of linguistic interaction facilitated by incorporation of lexical borrowed elements and to analyze the linguistic, cultural, and communicative functions. And the object of this work is process of linguistic interaction in contemporary languages. When it comes to subject of this qualification thesis is borrowed lexical elements and their role in facilitating linguistic interaction and language development. And for this research, we use the descriptive analysis, scientific analysis, comparative analysis, and contextual interpretation. Chapter 1 provides the theoretical basis of our research. It explains the lexical borrowing. Lexical borrowing is a process when one language takes words from another because of language contact. This is a natural and
phenomenon because language have always influenced each other through. You can clearly see this. Uh, For example, the French word government just also borrowed extensively. For example, the words maktab from Arabic, daftar from Persian, samayot from Russian, and this shows the lexical borrowing is universal process that exists in all languages of the world. Why do language borrow words? There are four main causes. Technology innovations, new inventions spread with their names. For example, computer, smartphone, and cultural connect. Societies share their arts, foods, and cultures. For example, piano, sushi, and trade and economic relations. Commercial interaction brings new vocabulary. For example, cotton, coffee, and education and scientific cooperation. Academic terminology travels across borders. For example, biology, philosophy, chemistry, and last one is about station. It is a most powerful force today. For example, manager, marketing, and linguists classify borrowing into several types. They are directed and indirect borrowing, loan words. Loan words adapt directly. For example, piano, sushi, and cows. It's also called loan translation. Translate word for word. For example, Superman. And semantic borrowing. Semantic borrowing, existing words get new foreign meanings. For example, mouse, magazine, virus, and hybrid formation. A mix of native and borrowed elements. For example, automobile, auto from Latin word, and mobile from Greek word. Um, Linguistic interaction and language contact. A key concept in our research is relationship between linguistic interaction and language contact. Linguistic interaction refers to the process through which language influence one another through communication between speakers in different linguistic communities. And language contact means occurs when speakers speak in different languages and begin to exchange linguistic elements. One of the uh, one of the main examples for this, for example, the Uzbek speaker states the word blogger or hashtag. There is linguistic interaction in real time. And chapter 2. When a word enters a new language, it rarely chapter 2. When a word enters a language, it rarely stays the same. It goes through the process of adaptation. Our research has four types of adaptation: phonological adaptation, morphological adaptation, semantic adaptation, and orthographic adaptation. Phonological adaptation, pronunciation changes to fit the new language. For example, the word French pronounced differently in Uzbek, English, and Russian. And morphological adaptation, words receive new grammatical markers. For example, the word nation, national, nationality. The Latin root extended using English grammars. And semantic adaptation, the meaning may narrow or expand. For example, the word magazine originally called the storehouse in Arabic, and now we can say this mm, periodical publications. And one of the main findings of our research is that borrowing words have an important communicative functions. For example, in technology, the words like internet, laptop help global communication. In culture, pizza, sushi show cultural exchange. And in business, words like marketing, startup show global cooperation and language learning. So when we use words like sushi in Uzbek, piano in English, we are taking part in intercultural exchange. Contemporary trends in lexical borrowing show borrowing in changing today. For example, English is a main donor language, and words like online, laptop, and software are used in worldwide. And second, social media makes borrowing very fast. Words like hashtag, influencers speak quickly across languages. And third one, some words become international and are used in many languages. For example, the word technology, globalization, and finally, borrowed words adapted into local languages. For example, in Uzbek, we add grammatical inters like yeah, internet, net, and this trend borrowing is becoming faster and more global. In our research, I found several key results. First, borrowed words enrich vocabulary and expand communication. And second, these support linguistic interaction between different cultures and nations. Third, English is currently the main donor language in global communication. And finally, borrowed words are not simple copies. They are adapted and integrated into new language systems. The practical importance of this research is also wide. It can be used in lexicology, in language courses, and it's useful for teachers, researchers, and translators. It's also relevant for modern education reform in Uzbekistan. And in conclusion, lexical borrowing is a natural and universal process in language development. And it's driven by language contact and has existed throughout history. And in the modern world, borrowing becoming faster due to globalization and digital communications. And our research confirms that borrowed words are not traits. It's a language identities. Instead, they show the vitality, openness, and ability to grow. And thank you very much for your attention.
Uh, which language most borrowed into English language?
Mostly French words,
French.
Latin words, Greek words, for example. French words like piano, uh, and uh, Greek words like philosophy, biology, and Arabic words like algebra. Algebra. What was it? Uh, connect to directly linguistic interaction and intercultural communication. It is also addressed to digital media and social communications. And it's very useful for today.
You mentioned about hybrid words. Can you give some examples for this hybrid words?
Hybrid words.
Like telephone, for example, and school.
Uh, For example, automobile. The word auto from Greek word and mobile from Latin word.
So it means that hybrid words are
Mix of borrowed and native language. The review was given by Tercümada Devletyanın. The conclusions are consistent with the objectives of the research and confirm the author's ability to conduct independent scientific investigation. The graduation qualification paper meets the academic requirements of a bachelor's degree and can be recommended for defense with a high evaluation. Our next graduate student is Mehmet Mirat Aylazarovich. The theme of his dissertation is etymological process of homonyms in the English language. His scientific advisor is Razimov Bahar Bakhtar. Dear Mirat, may begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, dear teachers. Today I will talk about present my consideration of the topic etymological process of humans in the English language. Understanding homonyms requires to have a modern and see different etymological root change and the semantic evolution speeds. Lexicology concept of homonyms from the Greek humans, same and animal and name. Describe different lexical shortness, indicate phonetics, graphic forms. For instance, changes of semantic code, legal and their ununited. For example, rate of studies and age of origins. Homonyms work mathematical distance, historical separate origin. Example, bank, financeable, and radio size. Classification of homonyms. Modern English homonym compared indicator whose spelling and pronunciation. Example, match, constant, and for things. Homophones, identical pronunciation but different spelling. Example, night, right. Homogroups, identical spelling but different pronunciations. Example, late, late. Phonetic conjugations and sound change. Interphonetics is historical with phonetic patterns and living ones distinct word sound identical. Example, like in early stage of English stage word. Tonight was pronounced without an active flow in the word k. The substitute sounds and simplifications and verses dropped seals and consonants and resulting homophones. This is the borrowing of the court of coalitions. Historical context resulted Scandinavian, Northern French, and classification. Etymologic description analysis and shows the context. Phonetics, conversation, and lexical borrowing are the most important about the 17.5% formation.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. What questions?
So, what's the aim of your work?
Modern English features of the rich vocabulary layer on that chapter by essential for historic recollection of external learning and the phonological sheets.
Review was given by Zashita and Khuzhanyazva. Overall, the bachelor's qualification paper meets the requirements for undergraduate research. The work is relevant, well-structured, and textually significant. It deserves a positive evaluation and is recommended for. Now let us continue with the next graduate student. Our next graduate student is Sipayeva Nilufar Kazan. The theme of her dissertation is derivation of sports terms in English and languages. Her scientific advisor is Vandeta Ziva Oraparna. Dear Nilufar, you may begin your presentation.
And you mentioned that she has a scheme of activity. Yeah?
Good afternoon, respected members, colleagues, teachers, and guests. Could you repeat the question one more time?
Examples.
Examples of sport terms? Okay. And was Uzbek and English sport terminology consists of many sports words. For example, in Uzbek language, goalkeeper, scoreboard can be the sport terms, and this can be also example for the compounding. And when it comes to Uzbek sport terminology, for example, Darvozabon, goal can be also visible example for this sport terminology in Uzbek sport terminology.
Thank you.
Thank you for the questions.
Hello.
The review was given by Mandela and Nurulayev. In general, the bachelor qualifications and presentation of teachers of sports is a relevant, well-structured, and scientifically valuable research work. It meets the requirements for bachelor's qualification thesis and can be recommended for preference. Our next graduate student is Dalas Tayba Gibunov, Amanda Yazar. The the same audio, the situation is phonological modifications of English sounds as an indicator of syllabic integrity. Your scientific advisor is Hocam Abdülhamid Ibrahimovic. Dear, we will not begin your presentation.
Yeah, okay, and dear members of the State Examination Commission, I will say journalists. My full name is Charles Gilbert, and today I would like to present my say is phonological modification of English sounds as an indicator of syllable integrity. And this topic is important. Some contents of an introduction, the concept of phonological modification, types of phonological modification, assimilation, illusion, linking, and reduction. Syllable structure, types of syllables, syllable integrity, the importance of phonological modification, and the examples of connected speech, the role of English pronunciation, and the conclusion. And the next page is introduction, and the introduction is phonological modification is occur in connected speech and make pronunciation more natural and more changes help speakers communicate more fluently and effectively. These phonological modifications and the role in maintaining and syllable integrity. And the next page is the concept of phonological modification and the concept of phonological modification is changing speech sounds that occur in connected speech. These changes help speakers pronounce words more easily and fluently and more natural, and they are natural part of spoken English, and they are widely used by native speakers because native speakers use this process unconsciously in everyday speech. And the next page is types of phonological modifications. There are several types of phonological modifications, and the modification in English connected speech, and these main types of include assimilation, illusion, reduction, and linking. These processes help make speech more fluent and natural. And the assimilation and the occurs when one sound is when one sound and similar to neighboring sound. And for example, there maybe is good boy, and maybe good boy, and the pronoun is good boy because it's D is pronoun changes a B because it's followed by B, and then maybe and this is very common in spoken English. Other examples of maybe this process makes pronunciation easier, and it helps speaker in save effort during speech and maybe maybe other example in 10 boys, and maybe it's 10 boys pronoun is 10 boys. And the next page is illusion. Illusion is the omission of sound in connected speech. For example, next step is pronounced as a next step. And yes, illusion and the T sound is changes. Maybe is in connected speech omitted, and illusion helps speakers and pronounce more quickly. And this process is very common in rapid speech. And the next page is the next page is linking, and the linking is reduction. This next page is reduction. Reduction happens when uncertain sounds and it become weaker, and for example become weaker, and it usually happens in fast and natural speech. For example, two is often pronounced as T and as in N. Reduction helps speakers sound more fluent and natural in English. As the next page is linking, and the linking is linking occurs when and the words are connected speech. And for example, is a phrase. It helps speech sound. It helps speech sound. Speech and simultaneously. For example, in go on, the words are linked and together, and the words and maybe and I want to go to the beach. Maybe the emphasize linking makes speech smooth and natural and improves and the rhythm of English. And the next page is syllable integrated. Syllable structure. Syllable structure and this is a basic unit of pronunciation of English. It usually consists of three parts: one third, nucleus, and the coda. The nucleus is a central part of every syllable, and the one third sound is the come before the vowel and syllable, and the coda. The consonant sounds and then that come before after the vowel. And for example, maybe and the cat, because and the cat and the K is nucleus and the nucleus A and the wanted and the T and the coda. Yes, but some words are but some words don't have in the coda. Maybe go, me, he as a text. And the syllable integrity means keeping means that the structure of the syllable remains unrecognizable, and even when sounds change, and also sounds may change through assimilation, illusion, linking, or reduction. These words remain understandable. This helps listeners recognize words and understand increase meaning in past speech. The importance of phonological modifications and the importance of phonological modifications are important because they improve listening comprehension, pronunciation, and fluency. They help learners understand natural English, and this process also listening comprehension help learners understand past and connected speech. In addition, this process the rhythm of and flow of English speech. And examples of connected speech, examples such as good boy, next day, and then go on show how sound in connected speech. These examples demonstrate natural and the pronunciation are common in everyday conversation. And the rule in English phonology pronunciation, and this process play an important role in English pronunciation. They help speakers produce more natural and fluent speech. This process will also improve listening skills by helping learners understand connected speech. As a result, learners can communicate more effectively in the real life situations. In conclusions, the phonological modification are essential part of spoken English, and they include assimilation, illusion, linking, reduction, and this process makes it more fluent and natural. At the same time, they help maintain syllable integrity and support clear communication and connected speech.
In the presentation, you mentioned assimilation, yeah?
Yes.
What is assimilation and how does it affect pronunciation?
Affect pronunciation. Yes, and
What is assimilation?
yes, assimilation occurs one sound and a neighboring similar to neighboring sounds. Yes, example as I mentioned is good boy and is good boy as a good and adjective was a good boy, and it means this doesn't means that change means changing means.
Okay. What are the main types of phonological modification?
The review was given by Daikiyanov and Najimova. In conclusion, the general findings obtained during the research are summarized. The list of references contains the scientific sources and materials used in this study. The research is aimed at investigating phonological modifications of English sounds and determining their role in maintaining syllabic integrity in connected speech. The results of the study may contribute to the teaching of English phonetics, pronunciation, and listening comprehension. Our next graduate student is Hayrattin Bagozal Marakazar. Integration in English and Russian, the complexities of the cognitive process. Your scientific advisor is Khozhamratov Damir Ibrahimovich. Dear Khozhal, you may begin your presentation.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. The topic of my graduation thesis is conceptual integration in Russian and English, the complexities of the cognitive process. The first one is what is conceptual integration? First, conceptual integration in simple terms is a mental blending process. It is when our brain takes to separate ideas from different contexts and blends them together to create a brand new meaning. Think of it like mixing two different colors to get a new one. Okay. Okay, and the next page, relevance and objectives. Traditional semantics cannot fully explain how new linguistic meanings emerge rapidly in the modern digital and social world. An object is conceptual integration blending as an online cognitive activity, and aim is mechanisms of blending in linguistic worldviews and the relevance of this study lies in the need to understand how our brain dynamically creates new meaning during communication, how English and Russian speakers use different blending operations to construct their worldviews. And the next page is theoretical framework. And founders Jules Papilio and Mark Turner, 1919. Meaning construction happens through dynamic networks of mental spaces, not just static one-to-one metaphors. And metaphor is directional. Blending is an integrated process that creates an entirely new mental space.
Metaphor.
Metaphor.
What was metaphor?
Unlike classical metaphor theory, which just maps one to another, Papilio and Turner provide that human thinking relies on a multi-space network where completely different concepts fused into a single functional idea. And next page is the fourth space model. Okay, this slide illustrates the core methodology. When we blend concepts, we take features from influence 1 and influence 2, find their common ground in the generic space and project them into the blended space. The blend develops an emergent structure, a brand new meaning that did not exist in the input beforehand. And next page, complexities of the cognitive process. Setting up and pure relations between spirit elements, computation, activating background knowledge and culture brings from long-term memory, and elaboration real-time, imaginative simulation of the new conceptual reality. Why is the process complex? Because the human brain must perform operations simultaneously in split seconds, computation, and elaboration, which means running the blend like a mental simulation. And next page is case study English blending. First example, computer virus. Input 1, biology, spirits, impacts, and input 2, technology, software, digital code, and emergence logic code acts area. Example 2, Mac job. Uh, McDonald's corporate frame, low pay and low skill. And input 2, labor market, career employment. In chapter 2, we analyzed English blanks, for instance, computer virus, threats, artificial threats, creating words like antivirus. In Mac job, a commercial brand is integrated with labor markets and compress full physiological critical into one word. And next page is case study blending. Russian blending agreement logic. Time runs, time flies. Input space, time, and abstract concept. And input space 2, running a physical movement. The blend, the rapid passage of time is visualized as a fast moving within being, and while English blends time with flying. Time flies, Russian blends it with running women digit. Next examples, community search a quartz of stone. Input space stone equal a hard unfailing object and input. And second example, hurt, the center of human emotion and empathy. Complexity, new meaning, images, a cruel, emotionless person. And, next page is cross-linguistic comparison and mismatch. Pragmatic, commercial, and technological comparison, coach pattern of greenwashing, and Russian focus, social historical evolution, and internal evolution states. And our comparative analysis shows that English uses blending to organize an external world like market and tech. Russian uses it for internal emotional states and historical judgments. Translating these is so because a literal translation and cognitive blend requiring translators to create a new one. In conclusion, blending is a universal, fundamental cognitive tool, not a stylistic ornament. Cognitive complexity stems from the real time, conversation, competition, and elaboration. Mismatched linguistic world views require translators to completely unpack and conceptual networks. In conclusion, conceptual integration is an essential law of human cognition. It allows our minds and the handle message abstract and efficiently. Understanding these cross-linguistic differences helps us in information, translation, and cross-cultural communication. Thank you for your attention.
What's the aim of your paper? Aim or goal? If you speak American English, goal.
contrasts the cognitive mechanisms of learning of English and Russian linguistic worldviews.
Okay. Can you give comparative examples for this for two languages?
Comparative.
Yes.
Conceptual domain like Russian example, жизненный путь, and English example like path, and shared conceptual model like is journey, and time is время лежит, time wise, and time is moment.
What is cognitive process?
Cognitive process. Cognitive process.
Or Indo-cognitive.
Cognitive process emphasizes the length, difficult, and the weight of the task. It implies cognitive cognitive process.
The review was given by Kumyatov and Yeremyeva. The qualification thesis meets requirements of degree, research works, and deserves a positive evaluation. Our next graduate student is Alexandra Martina Tugabarova. The theme of your dissertation is the concept of building block in cognitive linguistics. Your scientific advisor is Kazamurad Kamil Ibrahimovic. Dear Martina, you may begin your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone, dear students and dear teachers. Today I would like the topic, the concept as a fundamental building block in cognitive linguistics. And this topic is important because cognitive linguistics studies the relationship between language and human thinking. In this presentation, I will discuss the nature, structure, and classification of concepts. I will discuss the nation of I will analyze the structural and semantic characteristics of concepts, and finally, I will present the main classification and typology of concepts. Introduction. The uh, the relevance of this topic is connected with the growing interest in the relationship between language and cognition. Modern linguistic study language not only as a communication system, but also as a reflection of human thoughts. Cognitive linguistics examines how people perceive, categorize, and understand reality. And the emergence and development of cognitive linguistics emerged in the 1970s as a new approach to language studies. It developed as a reaction against traditional theories that separate language from human cognition, and researchers against traditional theories that research argued that language should be studied together with perception, memory, and thinking. And so, foundation of categorization. One of the foundation of cognitive linguistics is Eleanor Roach's theory of categorization. She demonstrated that people organize knowledge throughout prototypes rather than specific definition. For example, some birds such as sparrows are considered more typical than penguins. Have flexible boundaries that categorization is based on experience and perceptions and development of formalization 19th and 80s center as cognitive linguistics become more developed and systematic and Ronald Jacob introduced cognitive grammar. Charles Fillmore proposed frame semantics, and George Lakoff with Mark Johnson developed conceptual metaphoric theory. And the core tenets of the discipline cognitive linguistics is based on three main participation principles, and this international commitment states that language reflection, mental structures, and relation commitment explains that language is part of the general cognitive abilities, and the embodiment commitment emphasizes that human experience and physical interaction with the words and shape language and thoughts. These principles form the theoretical basis on cognitive linguistics. The notion of concept in modern linguistic research. Concept is a mental unit that stores and organizes knowledge about the world. It helps people understand reality and communicate ideas in cognitive linguistic concepts are viewed as the basic building blocks of human cognition. They connect language with thoughts and allow individuals to categorize experience and interpret information effectively. And in concept and cultural linguistics, in cultural linguistics, concepts are closely connected with cultural and national values. Um, Structural and semantic characteristics of concepts. Have a complex internal structure. They usually consist of a core and peripheral elements. The contains the most important feature, while the peripheral elements include additional association and cultural information. Complexity of concepts. Concepts are complex mental structures that include different types of knowledge. They combine personal experience, emotion, cultural information, and linguistic meanings. Because of this complexity, people may understand the same concept in different ways. In conclusion, concepts are fundamental units of cognition and play a central role in cognitive linguistics. They help people organize knowledge, understand reality, and communicate it effectively. Their study showed that concepts have complex structure, semantic feature, and different classification. Yes.
Thank you.
How the concepts liberalized in the second chapter, second chapter.
How's the concept?
Liberalization of concepts. How is the concept?
They reform thoughts, human expression, knowledge, and participation, and it connects language, thoughts, and culture, and it helps people. It helps people organize, understand, and communicate deep information. To a concept is a mental unit that stores knowledge and experience.
Review was given by Shamra Kani. The conclusions are consistent with the objectives of the research and confirm the author's ability to conduct independent scientific investigation. The graduation qualification paper meets the academic requirements for a bachelor's degree and can be recommended for defense with a high evaluation. Our next graduate student is Mazen Banaki, senior bachelor. The theme of the dissertation is assessment of language skills in English teaching. Your scientific advisor is Dr. Nidukata Nakatan. Zero your presentation.
Can I start? Good afternoon, Honorable Chairman and esteemed members of the State Commission. My name is Magen Manapiza. We are very proud to present our qualification paper titled Assessment of Language Skills in English Teaching. So today we present the structural framework of our study. Which explore how modern testing practice can be effectively developed in English teaching language. On this slide, we present the structure layout and the contents of our qualification paper, and we are organized into introduction, two main chapter, conclusion, and list of academic research. So in the chapter 1, which is focused on the theoretical foundation, we explore the main concepts and importance of assessments in English teaching and its different types of English language teaching and the key principles of effective evaluation. In the chapter 2, we transition into the practical implementation. Here we examine the actual classroom use of alternative assessment effective methods and some application of digital technologies and some specific problems encountered in assessing the skills and some list of academic research. So now let us why this topic really matters. So assessment isn't just about giving marks. It shapes of students' motivation and the future. So this topic is matter for improving the testing system. Traditional tests focus too much grammar rules and the vocabulary. So modern English teaching is needs to new ways to students measure to students real communication skills. And this topic is noted to reducing this exam stress and anxiety. You know that these traditional exams make students more nervous and anxiety. So continuous alternative assessment helps create classroom environment which students can build confidence. So we also use the digital technologies or artificial intelligence like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Code. This improves students learning and help teachers to saving time. And our topics, problems, and relevance. Our topics problem is traditional language testing relies too much on paper-based exams, which check memorize grammar and vocabulary. This outdated approach causes high exam anxiety for students, takes too much grading time for teachers, and this really cannot measure how well students can actually communicate in real life communication skills. So this topic is relevant. This also is highly relevant because global communication and modern education demands student-centered and dynamic classrooms. Furthermore, our president supports the Uzbekistan Presidential Decree number PF 5847, which requires educational system to integrate and attractive digital technologies and competence-based assessment methods. So today's our topics, objects, subjects, and aim and the novelty. The object of our research novelty is the general process and ecosystem of evaluating linguistic knowledge and communicative performance with single language English language teaching. Second one, our subject of our research, the scientific pedagogical principles, scientific principles, alternative assessment practice, and using AI or digital tools to optimize feedbacks. Aim of our work to examine the theoretical foundation and practical implementation that balance the alternative assessment method with the digital tools and improving students' language proficiency. And scientific novelty, our unlike past studies, the look at the digital tools is the separately. The paper suggests the hybrid assessment system. Which collaborate digital and traditional methods. Today's our research tasks and methods. Research tasks is a defined main definition, types, and function of our assessment foreign language classroom, and this includes the validity, reliability, and the washback effect, and investigate how teachers can use the digital tools, AI applications for skills evaluation. Our research methods is the descriptive and comparative analysis, quantitative survey questionnaire, and statistical percentage processing. And there are some key findings from Susan Burkhardt and Dylan Whelan. They are focuses on the feedback power. They examine the continuous formative feedback is just a tool for grading. It's instructional strategy to improve students' performance and achievement. And they are investigate descriptive over evaluate effective feedback. Findings from John Hattie and Helen temporarily. They are focused on the conceptual model of feedback. Feedback is the most effective when it answers the three fundamental student questions: where I am going, how I guess learning grows. Chapter 1, Theoretical Foundation of Assessment. In the chapter 1, we focus on the definition, importance, primary types of language assessment, and we talk about the watchdog effects, and we analyze how to assess the four skills like listening, speaking. Second chapter, okay. In the second chapter, we focuses on the practical implementation of the language assessment. We moving with paper exams by introducing continuous and student-centered tools like portfolios, self-assessment, and assessment methods, and using modern educational platforms like Kahoot, Grammarly, EI, like this intelligent automate language grading and save and provide instant rules. And some examples from chapter 2, there are portfolio method, EI assesses writing feedback, and EI speech assessment, and survey data findings. And this survey data findings is the most effective. In the class, some class have more students, and we use the survey data finding to save time and effective to learn. And to conclusion, moving away from paper-only memory tests toward active communicative language. And we've used the AI technologies and more methods to evaluate students' learning, and we should give some feedback to improve their motivations. Thank you.
Will you please tell us about the usage of AI in assessment process?
Yeah.
The use or role of AI, artificial intelligence, in assessment process. Because you mentioned in your speech about this, AI driving tools and AI in assessment, etc.
We have some writing tasks, and there are some grammar rules errors, and we use the Grammarly. It's a digital tools, AI, and we take these writings, and they find some grammatical rules, and this saves teachers. And students learn how
real mistakes. Am I right?
Yes.
Well, what should we do in such cases?
I mentioned about like the Grammarly, Kahoot, like these tools.
Well, sometimes you see, AI also gives not concrete, real or correct answers. Is it possible?
Yes.
In this case, in such cases, what should we do or teachers do?
We just rely on the AI. We should we should ask some feedbacks from teachers or some scientific advisory. Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
What about the washback?
Yes, washback effects. Washback effects refers to the impact that testing or assessment have on day-to-day classroom students' learning behavior. Washback effect refers to the students' behavior or testing. For example, the 5 minutes speech is a negative washback, and how can I say, Kahoot or like play games is a positive aspect to improve learning.
The review was given by Abdul Rahman and Zashita Zarba. Overall, the bachelor's qualification paper meets the requirements for undergraduate research. The work is relevant, well-structured, and practically significant. It deserves an excellent evaluation and is recommended for public reference. Our next graduate student is Dr. Genova Total. The theme of your dissertation is effective techniques for improving students' writing proficiency. Your scientific advisor is Pujanya Umida Kumagambetana. Dear Pujanya, you may begin your speech.
Good afternoon, dear students and teachers. Today I'm going to present my qualification paper. The topic of my research is effective techniques for improving writing, the students' writing skills, writing proficiency. You know, this topic is connected with English language teaching, especially with developing students' writing skills. And in my presentation, I will speak about the importance of writing skill and many difficulties that students face every day and useful teaching approaches. And I will also focus on the role of modern technology. Writing is one of the most important skills in learning English because through writing we can express our ideas, thoughts, opinions, and our knowledge. So that writing plays a pivotal role in learning English language. And however, yes, writing is not easy. Yes, it's not easy skill, but because students need to express and need to learn academic grammar, vocabulary, and also writing is productive skill. So that many students and teachers also find it very difficult. And many learners also can speak, understand English language, but when it comes to writing, they feel difficulty. And in my research, I find several approaches and useful techniques to improve writing skills. The topic of my research, the actuality of my topic is to find the clear and useful approaches for students. And because nowadays English language is becoming dominant in communication, international communication, work, and our education. So that students need to learn writing skill, need to improve their writing skill for their exams, essays, reports, and also future professional life. So, however, many students have problems with grammar, vocabulary, and coherence and organizing their ideas. Because writing requires clear organization. Not only it's about cool grammar or it's about academic vocabulary, but clear ideas, organization, and coherence. And what I mentioned. And when it comes to object and subject of concepts, the object of my research is the process of learning writing skills. And the subject of my research is finding the different kind of approaches and techniques for improving writing skills. And yes, there are different research methods were used in this paper. They include theoretical analysis, completion of teaching approaches, and also survey and questionnaire that were included in my presentation. And when it comes to concept and importance of writing skill, writing proficiency means more than writing grammatically correct or correct sentence. It means that ability to express, to deliver your opinion in correct and clear way. This is writing purpose. And you can also take higher bands
when you give your ideas in a clear way. And a good piece writing should have correct grammar, rich vocabulary, and clear organization. And it's also important to focus on pronunciation and spelling in writing. And writing also develops students' critical thinking, and because they need to plan their ideas step by step, and we should support them with examples and real life examples when we write essays. And there are several approaches to teaching writing. For example, product approaches. This includes the final written text that students can study a model and then write the written final word. And the process approach is focused on writing stages. For example, when we writing, we should plan, drafting, revising, and editing. And the data approach teach students how to write different kinds of writing. For example, when we write essays, we should be more academic, or when we write for letters and reports, we should follow the structure. And the communicative approach that focuses on real life writing tasks, such as emails, messages, or reviews that can include. In modern classroom, it's better to combine these approaches in order to teach students in a better way.
Second chapter. Second chapter.
This one. And when it comes to the second chapter, I focus on the challenges by organizing by level. Beginner levels have difficulties when they give the simple sentence or simple vocabulary that they focus every day. They need correct phrase, correct clear examples. And intermediate students can write simple paragraph, but they often have problems when they organizing. And advanced students may have a lot of when it comes to style, paraphrasing, or referencing skills. That for these kinds of problems, we should read more academic articles. We should learn and research on ourselves. And each level requires different kinds of approaches and techniques and feedbacks.
Conclusion.
Okay. In conclusion, I should mention that writing is a very important and complex skill. Students need regular practice, guidance, to improve their writing skills. This research shows the effective introduction and effective techniques should combine different kinds of approaches and useful classroom techniques. And teachers should combine these approaches.
About methods in what kind of methods in teacher writing did you try to analyze?
Yeah, there are several approaches and teaching writing methods that I mentioned, but the favorite one that I can advise for students is reading article approach. Also, this give clear and academic feedbacks for the learners who want to learn English language. Because when we write, writing is academic, so that reading articles can be more useful any kind of approaches.
So, in your second chapter, you have listed here some effective techniques, yeah?
Yes.
Third one is process writing approach. Can you give some details about this approach? And the second, what have you observed based on it?
Process approach. Process is meaning is working on yourself. The process of learning writing skills. And the process of approach I mostly use because in this approach includes peer feedback that is very essential because after analyzing some kind of topic, we give the process of this writing. We can give clear feedback and our ideas. For example, when I give the general topic, they firstly discuss about this topic, and then we share our ideas that can be more easy for the students to express their idea. I think this is one of the most first approach for me. Review was given by Satullah and Zashita and Najwa. As a conclusion, some part of the work could also be edited for style and academic decisions. Nonetheless, these comments are minor and don't seriously affect the quality of the qualification papers. Overall, the bachelor's qualification paper is relevant, well-structured, and textually useful. It meets the requirements of a graduation qualification papers. The work can be recommended for defense and deserves a positive mark. And our last graduate student is Dariba Kuliman Fatfakazan. The theme of her dissertation is the interpretation of the family notion within national, cultural, and personal perspectives. Your scientific advisor is Salih of Ikram Batarbayesh. Dear Kuliman, you may begin your presentation.
So, good afternoon, everyone, dear teachers and participants. Now, I would like to present my qualification thesis, which is entitled The Interpretation of the Family Notion within the National, Cultural, and Personal Perspectives. And so, initially, the concept of the family is one of the most important concepts in human life. And every person belongs to the family and receive their experience of the education and or the first experience of the communication within the family environment. And because of family has always attracted the attention of the researchers. And also family exists in every society. People from different countries may understand it differently. For some people, family means an emotional connection, or for others, it is associated with some traditions, duties, or responsibilities. And so the relevance of my research is connected with several important factors. First of all, in modern world, people communicate with representatives of different cultures more frequently than before. And due to globalization, migration, and technological development, intercultural communication has become an essential part in everyday life. And therefore, understanding culturally significant concepts has become increasingly important. And my research aim and objectives is to investigate the interpretation of the notion of family within national, cultural, and personal perspectives, and to analyze its representation in language, culture, and individual worldview. And to investigate my aim comprehensively, there are several objectives. For example, I studied the theoretical approaches to the concept of family, and also defining the family as a linguistic cultural concept, and also analyzing personal interpretation and comparing cultural and individual perspectives. So the object in this slide, I will explain the object, subject, and methods. First, the object of my research is a notion of family as it's reflected in language, culture, and personal consciousness. And when it comes to subject of research is national cultural and personal interpretation of family concept and linguistics express this concept. And to investigate this applied first theoretical analysis of linguistic and cultural literature, and also comparative and descriptive analysis, especially in the Eastern and Western views on family. And as to theoretical foundations, it is usually based on the works of several prominent scholars in linguistics and cognitive science. One of the most influential researchers is Yuri Karasik, who preserve collective knowledge and also values. And also in Uzbek language, linguistics, important contributions were made by Safarov Ashurova, and who investigated lingual-cultural and cognitive aspects of language. And based on these theoretical approaches, family can be viewed not only simple as a social institution, but as a complex concept that contains emotions, knowledge, evaluation, and cultural values.
Second chapter.
So in this second chapter, I conducted conceptual associated survey among 30 undergraduate students aged 18 and 22. And in this survey, participants were asked a simple question. They had to the first word and ideas that first came to their minds. And the purpose of this survey to identify was to identify concept and understand how to perceive the family today. And so the first, as you can see, the most frequent response was love, and was love followed by care, support, respect, happiness, and other common associations included mother, father, trust, protection, and hope. An important part of this research is analysis of the literary works, because literary reflects social values and cultural attitudes toward family. And for this purpose, I will examine the three well-known literary works: Little Woman, Pride, Prejudice, and To Kill the Mockingbird. And why I will choose these works. In Little Woman by Yusmay Ahmed, family is portrayed as a source of emotional support, moral guidance, and personal growth. And the member of the March family support one another despite various difficulties, and which highlights the importance of the unity and love. And the second word, Pride and Prejudice, family is connected with marriage, social status, and reputation. And the novel demonstrates how family influences individual decisions and social opportunities. And so the last work is To Kill the Mockingbird by Harper Lee. And in this part, family serve as a source of moral education, and through the character of Atticus Finch, Readers observe how family teaches that and responsibility. So, the conclusion, research has shown family is one of the most important and universal concept in human society, and also cross-cultural comparison showed that young people primarily associated family with love, care, support, respect, and happiness. And modern social changes continue to influence family relationships, and also family is not a social institution, but also a cultural, linguistic support and cognitive phenomenon that reflects both the heritage of the past and the realities of the modern society. So thank you for your attention, and I will be happy to answer any question.
So you analyze the concepts like family, yes?
Yes.
And how do you try to compare, for example, the family structure, not family, national cultural perspectives with English, for example, Karpal with English or vice versa? And if yes, what differences if we can find in the destination cultural perspectives of these concepts? Family.
Okay. I compared the Asian cultures, for example, Uzbek and Karakalpak cultures, and also the Western cultures. In the Asian, for example, in Uzbek and Karakalpak culture, it made different from the Western culture. For example, it has some traditions, for example, respect for the elders, and especially older people has viewed as a wisdom or the and the experienced people, and young people as has expected to a listener. And also the Western culture, they are more nuclear family is more common, and they are encouraged to individual and independence. Also, as they all like to choose their own own choice, marriage, education, or career.
So in your research work, you have mentioned about English-speaking cultures, and among them, what type of communication patterns would they use within families? What have you analyzed based on English-speaking? For example, Mediterranean, Latin American cultures, you have like this. They are opening emotional communication. Yeah. Yes. You know, Christian American cultures communication. You will see examples from them also. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mına жұмысына қалса бюджет басылмаған жері бар ана ол қоймаған жерлерді салу керек. И пример түскенше бірекетап отзыв ілініп ашыдан алмады. Бірінші. Одан кейін екінші инженер мұғалім алмады. Сендер отзывты классификация алмағансыңдар. Аннотацияны жазып қойды. Неге түбелек болып жүреді? Әне уақытта ревью бірінші ілініп ашыдан алмады. Түсінді ма? Зашитаға жіберіс беру керек та ол.
Review was given by Zashita and division in conclusion, William and Daria Vargas qualification paper entitled this concludes the presentation part of today's bachelor dissertation defense session. On behalf of the Commission, I would like to thank all graduate students for their presentations, scientific advisors for their guidance, and the respected members of the Commission for the questions and recommendations. The Commission will now proceed to discuss and evaluate the students' dissertation works. Please graduates leave the room.
Altı bir falan yapmak.